So, Rado, you just won qualis here in Scuol. What can you tell us about the conditions on the course and what can we expect from you in the finals?
I'm happy that I did it. I had two good runs in this perfect condition. It's so icy. I like it, and what to expect, I don't know. I don't want to speak about expectations, but I will do what I have.
Thank you, Rado.
Die 16 besten Damen und die 16 besten Herren, die haben sich für die Finals qualifiziert. Start um 13 Uhr. Bei den Damen haben wir 10 Nationen und erfreulicherweise ist die Schweiz die Nation, die das größte Kontingent stellt, und zwar 3 Fahrerinnen. Weitere Nationen haben wir: Deutschland mit 2 Athleten, Österreich, Japan und Italien ebenfalls mit je 2 Athleten. Dann eine Athletin aus den Ländern Tschechien, Korea, Niederlande, Polen und der USA. Also eine bunt gemischte Truppe bei den Damen, und bei den Herren, da haben wir 7 Nationen, und wenig überraschend stellen die Österreicher und die Italiener mit je 5 Athleten jeweils das größte Kontingent, gefolgt von der Schweiz mit 2 Athleten. 2 waren am Start, 2 sind im Finale, also eine super Ausbeute hier für die Schweiz. Weitere Nationen mit je einem Athlet sind Bulgarien, Korea, Slowenien und Deutschland. Der Modus ist so, dass jeweils die besser oder der besser Klassierte wählen darf, auf welchem Kurs er fahren möchte. Und wir starten im Achtelfinale mit dem ersten gegen den 16., den zweiten gegen den 15., dritten, 14. und so weiter und so fort, bis wir dann im Finale nur noch 2 haben, die um den Tagessieg kämpfen werden. Das Ganze in genau 15 Minuten. Jetzt gibt es noch einmal ein bisschen Werbung. Danach werden die DJ Foxy noch etwas für Stimmung sorgen, und dann melden wir uns zeitig wieder mit der letzten Informationen fürs heutige Finale, bevor wir dann so richtig loslassen werden.
Dafür nicht. Ich sitze und trinke noch ein Bier. Früher waren wir oft gemeinsam hier. Das macht mir nichts. Gegenüber sitzt ein Typ wie ein Bär. Ich stell mir vor, wenn das ein neuer wäre. Das juckt mich überhaupt nicht. Auf einmal packt ich auf ihn zu und mach ihn an. Lass meine Frau in Ruhe. Er fragt nur: Hast du einen Stich? Und ich denke schon wieder nur an dich. Verdammt, ich lieb dich nicht. Verdammt, ich brauch dich nicht. Verdammt, ich will dich nicht verlieren. Verdammt, ich lieb dich nicht. Verdammt, ich brauch dich nicht. Verdammt, ich will dich nicht. Ich will dich nicht verlieren. So langsam fällt mir alles wieder ein. Ich wollte doch nur ein bisschen freier sein, jetzt bin ich.
Ein grosser Traum ist natürlich zu gewinnen. Aber noch viel wichtiger ist es zu sehen, was man liebst am Siegen am Leben hat. Dankbar dafür zu sein, an dem arbeite ich jeden Tag. Und wenn das gelingt, ist es großartig.
So braucht doch niemand sagt auf. Und ich denke schon wieder nur an dich. Und ich lieb dich.
A very good afternoon to you. Welcome along to Scuol in Switzerland. It is the 5th stop on the FIS Snowboard Alpine World Cup Tour. Parallel giant slalom coming up for you today from this beautiful part of the world, right out in eastern Switzerland. My name's Ian Findlay. Pleasure to have your company here on FIS TV or wherever you are watching around the world. Don't the mountains look absolutely spectacular? This has been a regular stop on the World Cup Tour since 2018. And let's take a little look at this part of the world. A lot to enjoy in this part of the world. We had a qualifying earlier on this morning, and two big shocks to tell you in the men's event. Benny Carl from Austria and Tim Masnak. Masnak, the parallel giant slalom World Cup Tour leader, out in qualifying. Did not finish, same as Benny Carl. It is a perfect day for parallel snowboard racing. It's cold, the piste is in wonderful condition. We're at an altitude of 2,234 meters and ready to go racing in about 7 minutes time. There was a little bit of fresh snow overnight which had delayed qualifications earlier today, and they just had to clear a little bit of snow out of the way. But so qualifying started about 15 minutes behind schedule, but all on time for the start of the race.
Snowboard, parallel giant slalom. We are starting with some amazing turns and already preparing for the delayed gate. We are getting into the steep part of the race with perfect slalom turns. Wow, the snow is in perfect condition. Amazing carving, and now preparing for the second delay where we can go straight through, and we are preparing for the last gate to make some speed for the finish line. We are tucking ourselves toward the finish line, and that's it with the preview for the perfect race here in Scuol.
Well, great to get a run through the course there. You could really tell after that second banana that the offset shortens about 21.5 meters. There's the PGS World Cup standings. Krowalas from Poland in the lead, but not by a lot. Subaki Miki has taken top spot in qualification. Sabine Peyer qualified in 6th place. Last year's Crystal Globe winner, Hofmeister, in 13th place. Riegler in 12th, qualified well in 5th place. It's a hill she has ridden well on over the past few seasons. Over in the men's side of things, Tim Masnak, as I was saying, out in qualifying. So big shock there. Masnak has to sit back and see what everyone else does today. Sanyun Kim, second in the standings. He is just through to finals in 16th place. So a bit of work to do for Sanyun Kim, but he is in with a chance today of taking over in the yellow bib. Well, here's the schedule for parallel giant slalom. Next weekend, we're off to Bansko in Bulgaria. It's the 5th of 12 parallel giant slaloms of the 2024-2025 season. They all come to an end in Canada, Val-Saint-Côme, in February. Well, they don't, because that's the 9th stop, but we've got a few double headers in there. But the Visa Snowboard Alpine World Cup Tour will continue with parallel slalom races later in the season. And there's a couple of parallel slaloms you can enjoy next week as well. Tuesday and Wednesday, the classic Bad Gastein night parallel slalom. Parallel slalom team event as well. Everything's set fair for today's competition. Ideal weather, ideal piste, and the world's best snowboarder racers ready to throw down. On the men's side of things, we've had 4 different winners in our 4 races. Karate, Masnak, Radoslav Yankov, who's the top qualifier for today, and Daniele Bagoza. Bagoza qualified through in 13th place. 4 different winners on the women's side of things as well. Esther Ledechka winning in Mailin, China. Dalmaso winning in Yanqing in China. Jasmine Karati getting the win in Careza, and Sabine Peyer the winner in Cortina. Now, no Esther Ledechka here. She is rather busy in St. Anton. I'm not going to give you any spoilers from St. Anton, but she's racing over there in the women's downhill. 3rd place in qualifying going to Krol Walas from Poland. What a season she's been having. 3 second-place finishes on the tour, and she leads. Michelle Decker, fantastic qualifying from her through into the top 16. She's 15th in the World Cup standings, 2nd in qualifying today. Top qualifier though, no doubt about it. It is one of the standout athletes of the season, Tsubaki Miki. She hasn't won yet in parallel giant slalom this season. 3 third-place finishes and a 4th. She's made the semi-finals of every single race, but hasn't hit the final yet. Can she change that today? That is the big question on
So, Tsubaki, you just won qualis here in Davos. What can you tell us about the conditions on the course, and what can you do in the finals?
Yeah, today the perfect day. It's sunny and good snow condition. Then setting is also good, a little bit difficult, but I like it. But correction, I changed my material, so I was worried, and my riding is, I think we can do more, so I want to do my best in the final, so thank you.
Thank you, Tsubaki.
Tsubaki Miki having a great season. She leads the overall standings. Over to the men's qualification. And 3rd place for Elias Huber from Germany in qualifying. He goes up against Gabriel Nesta in the last of the heats. 2nd place in qualifying for the Austrian Arvid Auner. Another man having a very strong season. He's 5th in the overall standings. Down in 17th in the parallel giant slalom standings. That's because we know him as a real parallel slalom specialist, although he would argue he's good in both, and he certainly looks that way today. Radoslav Yankov from Bulgaria, the top qualifier in the men's event. 4th in the standings and the winner in Careza. Let's hear from him now.
So, Rado, you just won qualis here in Scuol. What can you tell us about the conditions on the course, and what can we expect from you in the finals?
I'm happy that I did it. I had 2 good runs in this perfect condition. It's so icy. I like it, and what to expect, I don't know. I don't want to speak about expectations, but I will do what I have.
Thank you, Rado.
Well, top qualifier always adds a little bit more expectation on the athletes, and Radoslav Yankov has been riding well this season, that's for sure. Can he get his 2nd victory of the season here in Scuol in Switzerland on a perfect day? Early January, winter in full swing. The mountains, don't they look absolutely spectacular? Wonderful conditions on the pistes across Europe right now, and great conditions underfoot as well. So we start off with the 8 finals. Straight knockout, of course. The fastest seed from qualifying, those on the left of your screen, get first lane choice. Now, it's pretty even out there. That is certainly the intention with the setting. Maybe, just maybe, the red course may be slightly faster. However, one or two athletes might like the blue. So here we go, heat number 1. Winner goes straight through to the quarterfinals. It is Julie Zog from Switzerland. She is on the red course. On the right-hand side of your screen, up against Ramona Teresa Hofmeister from Germany. Hofmeister hasn't hit the podium yet in parallel giant slalom this season. She, of course, wants to defend her globe, but has to get things moving pretty quickly. Hofmeister in the 2025 season, not quite at her best yet. A best of 9th in parallel slalom, a couple of 10ths in parallel slalom as well. 5th, 6th, 8th and 11th in PGS for Hofmeister. Didn't have the best of prep for the season, but riding herself into these finals again. We know that from Hofmeister. We know what a quality athlete she is. Goes up against Julie Zog, who's had a couple of parallel slalom 3rd place finishes in China to start the season. Best PGS of 4th in Carreza. Now, if we're looking at the seeds, this would favour Julie Zog on the red course, but Hofmeister has the advantage early on, point 1-2. Hofmeister trying to build that lead over on the left-hand side of your screen. Zog's in trouble. Zog down and Hofmeister through to the quarterfinals. That guarantees a top 8 finish for Hofmeister. Julie Zog, who sitting in 5th in the overall standings, will finish outside of the top 8 today. So Hofmeister, who was looking good in that 8th final, takes advantage of the mistake from Hofmeister, from Zog, and through into the quarterfinals. That's the moment where we lost Julie Zog. It's still pretty icy underfoot. That's how these snowboarders like it. You're able to get the grip, get the power, get the force on the board to generate the speed and arc out these turns. Sun's been on the hill a fair bit though this morning, so it is softening up just a little bit. Getting ready for the second heat. Claudia Riegler up against Tomoka Takeuchi from Japan. Claudia Riegler on the red course, qualified in 5th place. Made the quarterfinals once in PGS this season. Finished in 8th in Milan, China. And off to Bad Gastein next week, a hill that she goes well on in parallel slalom. And Riegler has had a parallel slalom podium this season. 2nd place in Yanqing, China. 38 World Cup podiums in the career of Claudia Riegler, 415 World Cup starts. Neck and neck at the first of the time check. Still plenty time for Takeuchi to come back into this one, and Takeuchi maybe with the slight advantage. So Riegler with some work to do, taking a wide line there, trying to get a bit more time on the fall line, but it's the athlete from Japan through the second intermediate. Here's where the course tightens up, and Riegler running wide but carrying some good speed. Riegler closing in here. This one's going to be very, very tight, but on the line, Takeuchi gets it. 0.14 the advantage, and one of the top seeds, 2 of the top seeds in fact, the 4th and 5th seed out in the first round. It's Takeuchi and Hofmeister that will face off in the first of the quarterfinals. The 12th and 13th ranked athletes from qualifying. It shows you qualifying just one part of what matters here. Yes, you can read into it, but it's the finals that really count. You've got to do one job, get into the finals, then effectively it's a new race. So next heat, getting it ready in the start, it is Ladina Kavietzel from Switzerland, qualified in 9th place, up against Zuzana Madarova from Czechia, who qualified in 8th. Good qualifying from Madarova. 14th in the PGS standings. And Madarova knows this is going to be a tough one. Up against Caviezel. 6th place for Madarova in classic Dolomite stop, the night race in Cortina d'Ampezzo. Caviezel ranked a little higher, just 1 place higher, in 13th in the PGS standings, and now they're 8th and 9th in qualifying, so very little between these two riders. Who is going to find the advantage and get into the quarterfinals? Caviezel slightly ahead at the moment, 0.22, but oh, and it's same gate, I think, as Julie Zog went down. Madarova out of the race. It could be a little slicker underfoot at that point. We'll have to keep an eye on it, but Switzerland have lost 1 athlete. Ladina Caviezel is through to the quarterfinals. Swiss fans making some noise for her. They've got another chance as well with Florina Becci as well. She goes in heat number 6. Switzerland with 1 opportunity in the men's. Dario Caviezel. So Ladina Caviezel through. Dario will be up a little bit later in the men's race. So Madarova out there, just coming out that turn a little bit late. Smooth riding from Caviezel. Takes her place in the quarterfinals. Doesn't know who she's going to be up against yet. It'll be one of the next 2 riders. Erim Young on the blue course, qualified in 16th place. She's 18th in the World Cup standings. Had her best result of the season in parallel giant slalom in the first round, where she finished 4th. She's up against Tsubaki Miki. Miki, 3 podiums in a row, 3 third-place finishes in a row in PGS. 4th place in Cortina. 36 points behind, but she is the top qualifier here. She's on the red course. So Tsubaki Miki up against Harim Young. Strong start from Miki on the red course through the first of the banana gates, the delay gates, 23-meter offset here, then it drops, of course, after the second offset. Very strong riding from Miki. She's building a big advantage here. And that same gate again causing problems for Miki. She's lost a little bit, and Harim Young now might have the advantage. She does. 0.23, and Miki is in danger here. Can she find anything over the final few turns? She's having to risk it all, and we might be about to lose the top seed here. No, we're not. Miki just finds it at the bottom of the course. Great riding from Miki, but that same gate again on the red course causing problems, and that word will be filtering through to the coaches and the riders. We may see some riders switch to the blue course. Anyone ranked in the top 8 in this first round gets to choose which course. Then it's the faster rider, of course, from qualifying throughout the rounds gets to choose which course they would like. So after a little bit of a wobble, Tsubaki Miki is through. Lucia Dalmaso, winner here last year, qualified in 15th place. She's the winner of round 2 in Yanqing, up against Michelle Dekker from the Netherlands. Dekker qualified in 2nd place, and Dekker's chosen the blue course here. So we're seeing the first of the higher seeds switch courses. We've seen 3 riders struggle, 2 go down on the red course, all on the same gate. So Dekker, I wonder if that was the reason she's chosen the blue course. Not a problem though for Dekker, because Dalmaso in big trouble, didn't even reach the tricky gate. Dekker still motoring on here. She might not be aware that Dalmaso is in trouble. And Dekker, maybe no. Oh, just running it a little tight. When she's on the toe edge, she might see a little bit more. And Dekker through to the quarterfinals. What a great season Decker is having. Podium in parallel slalom in Davos, just back in December, 21st of December. Decker's best PGS of the season before today was 11th in Carreza, but she's bettered that today. It's the top 8 for Michelle Decker. At least, but can she go on? Get her second podium of the season. Her first this season in parallel giant slalom. Moving on now, Beitshi up against Cheyenne Locke. German, the faster athlete from qualifying. She has chosen the blue course. Beitshi qualified in 10th place. One World Cup podium in the career of Florina Neva Beitshi. It came in parallel slalom. Best PGS of 16th, just the second time she's made it through to finals. Starting to get really confident at this level. Not a lot between them. Beitshi had the advantage at the first intermediate, but it's Cheyenne Locke that is closing in on this one. She's looking good on the blue course, but Beitshi still has the advantage. Maybe the last few turns slightly quicker on the red course, but Cheyenne Locke from Germany. Oh, a little stumble there. This looks like it might go the way of Beitshi, and it does by 0.61 in the end. So the number 7 seed knocked out on the blue course, and Beitshi takes her place in the quarterfinals. So Beitshi will go up against Michelle Decker. Quarterfinal number 3. Solid riding from the Swiss athlete. Two heats to go. Jasmine Korati goes up against Sabine Peyer from Austria. Peyer second in the World Cup standings, winner of the last parallel giant slalom in Cortina. Up against Jasmine Korati, winner 2 races ago in Carreza. Korati on the red, Peyer on the blue. Peyer, the faster qualifier, has chosen the blue course here. Important race in the overall standings, this one. 2 athletes that have both been winners on the tour. It's Korati with the advantage at the first intermediate. Looks like riders all getting the hang of the red course now. There's the tricky gate, and Korati no problem, but Peyer with the advantage. Not by a lot, taking some risk with the line, trying to run a really tight line, but Korati coming in hot to finish. And Korati now maybe has the advantage, but Peyer stepped it up as well. This one going right down to the line. Peyer gets it by 0.03 of a second. Tightest race we have had so far, as you would expect from 2 World Cup winners this season. Peyer really taking some risk on the bottom section of the course. She was 1/4 of a second down at the first intermediate. Three hundredths of a second. Peyer through to the quarterfinals.
Sabine Peyer also eine Runde weiter. 14 Weltcup-Podestplätze hat sie erreicht.
One heat to go here in the Graubünden canton of Switzerland. Iris Flum from the USA up against Alexandra Kroll-Walasz from Poland. Flum, 21 years old, making her 61st World Cup start on the Visa Snowboard Alpine World Cup Tour, up against Kroll-Walasz, the World Cup Tour leader. Kroll-Walasz choosing the blue course, but it's Iris Flum with a nice start on the red, neck and neck right now. Kroll-Walasz wearing that yellow bib as the World Cup Tour leader. Leads it by 21 points. But Iris Flum putting up a great fight here. Now Krovalas with the slight advantage. Not a lot in it. Just over a tenth of a second or so, yeah, 0.12. And Krovalas has to try and see this one out, but Flum not going anywhere, and Flum putting up a big fight against the World Cup Tour leader. Who is going to take this one? Krovalas by 600ths of a second. 3 times she's finished second this season. Still looking for that first win in parallel giant slalom since her return to the World Cup Tour. One win in her career, of course. Parallel giant slalom. Bronze medalist at the last World Championships behind Tsubaki Miki and Daniela Ulbing. She's been the most consistent of the riders so far this season. Another good show there for Iris Flum from the USA. 14th in qualifying, picking up World Cup points and making it through to finals. Here's our lineup for the 4 quarterfinals. Hofmeister against Takeuchi. Caviezel up against the overall World Cup Tour leader, Tsubaki Miki. Decker qualified in second up against Beci from Switzerland. And Sabine Peyer up against Alexandra Kroll-Walasz from Poland. The World Cup Parallel Giant Slalom Tour leader. Getting ready now for the men's 8th finals. Starting with Daniele Bagosa going up against Mirko Filicetti. Daniele Bagosa leading the overall standings. The Italians leading the Nations Cup as well. Italians going strong. They've got 5 athletes through. Fischnaller in there, the legend of this game. Gabriel Messner goes up against Elias Huber. Messner is having a decent season. So here we go with the first of the men's 8 finals. Daniele Bagosa on the red course, Mirko Filicetti on the blue. There was just a last-minute switch on the live timing. Quarter of a second in favour of Filicetti. And he's building that advantage, Mirko Filicetti. Third in Yanqing, the second stop of the parallel giant slalom season. Building a big advantage. He qualified well in 4th place. Of course, the World Cup Tour leader, Tim Masnak, knocked out, didn't finish the first run in qualifying. Bagosa closed in that gap, and Bagosa gets it right on the line. Filicetti had a huge advantage, 0.77. Did he take his foot off the gas? Well, Bagosa closing in. So Bagosa getting it, the 13th seed. You've got to fight right to the end. We just saw a little shot of Edwin Corati there as well, winner of the opening round of the tour. He finished in 17th, the man that is 3rd in the standings. So Bagosa through. Getting ready for the second heat. Dominik Burgstaller qualified in 12th place, 23-year-old Austrian. He is on the red course. Jan Casanova from Switzerland on the blue. Casanova out of Chur, not too far away from here. 62nd World Cup start for Casanova. Hasn't found the World Cup podium in individual competition. 1 podium in a team event for Casanova. At the first of the intermediate time checks, 10th of a second for Casanova. But as we saw in the first race, you can have a big, big lead, but it ain't over till it's over. One thing we know, Bergstaller is going to keep fighting through the second intermediate. The gap has grown. Oh, Casanova in a bit of trouble. Nice recovery, but here comes Bergstaller. Oh, and Bergstaller gets it on the line, 0.21. So Bergstaller closing in that red course a little quicker over the bottom section. Now, is that going to filter its way back up? We've seen, I think, some athletes change their choice of course based on one or two problems early on in the women's race. But in the men's race, the red course seemingly a little bit faster. It's also, we're looking up from the camera shot that you're enjoying at home or wherever you're watching. That doesn't necessarily mean that the finish line is an exact straight line across, so bear that in mind. It's all measured out, it's all fair. Now, Andreas Promegger on the blue up against Fabian Oebman. On the red, Promegger, the world champion in parallel slalom. Up against Fabian Oebman, who's 10th in the standings, 4th last time out. Promegger 11th in the standings, best of 4th in parallel GS this season. And the Austrians struggling a little bit this season when it comes to parallel giant slalom. Oebman, the best ranked Austrian in the World Cup standings right now. Now, Promegger has 0.38 of an advantage, but just watch Oebman. Can he find that little bit extra to close in and take this one? And not enough. Promegger takes it. You can just make out the orange line across the hill. It is at a slight angle, just as we look at it. So that one goes in favour of Andreas Promegger. 44-year-old from St. Johann in Pongo, looking for his 70th World Cup podium today. One podium in parallel slalom this season for the three-time world champion. He was PGS world champion back in 2017, where he did the double in Sierra Nevada. Heat number 4. Sang-Yun Kim, second in the World Cup standings, up against Radoslav Yankov on the blue. The top qualifier, Yankov, the winner in Careza, ranked 4th in parallel giant slalom this season. This could be a really interesting race. First versus 16th, but in terms of form, overall this season, very closely matched. Oh, and Sang-Yun Kim in big trouble. Now that opens things up at the top of the standings, because the World Cup leader Tim Masnak not getting any points. Sang-Yun Kim is going to finish in 16th today. Karate is going to finish in 17th. He's 3rd in the standings. So Yankov, who's 4th, could be on for a big climb today. And the Bulgarian taking that one comfortably after the problems for Sang-Yun Kim.
Yankov takes 2 in and goes ahead to the quarterfinals.
So Radoslav Yankov, the top qualifier, safely through, but he goes up against Andreas Promegger from Austria. Kim here just trapped on that toe edge and was right by the split as well. Once that happens, no chance. So next heat, Dario Kavitsil up against Arvid Auner. Auner sitting in 5th in the overall standings, down in 17th in the parallel giant slalom standings. Against Dario Kavitsil, he's 16th in parallel GS standings. Auner on the red course, qualified through in 2nd place. Caviezel qualified through in 15th at the first of the intermediates coming up here. 0.16 between them. It's in favour of the Austrian, who's running a very tight line on that toe edge. Oh, big problems here. No. We've seen Caviezel miss a gate, I think, and crossed into the line, and that's caused Owner to DNF. Now, my understanding of this would be that would put Owner through. Just wait, yeah, there was nothing that Caviezel could have done. He was obviously not intending to get into the path of the Swiss athlete. We'll see it again on the replay here. But because Caviezel missing a gate and forcing Owner to end up missing a gate, it will be Owner going through. It's Owner into the quarterfinals. A little bit of drama. Thankfully, both men okay, because those ones can be a little nasty. Have the potential to be a little nasty anyway. Maurizio Borromolini fan club out in force. Borromolini 5th in the PGS standings, 3rd in the overall standings. Having a great season is Borromolini, qualified in 7th. Best of 2nd this season in parallel GS. He is on the blue course. Zan Kozier from Slovenia, very experienced athlete. He is on the red course, down in 21st in the standings. So the board drops. Here we go. Heat number 6. Zan Kozier on the red. Maurizio Borromolini on the blue. Nice start from both athletes. Approaching the first of the time checks. And you see on the red course, Kozier really cutting a tight line. Borromolini on the blue, though, building a little bit of an advantage here. Seen the red course close in. Problems for Kozier, the goofy-footed rider on the red, but he's still got the momentum, and Kozier, oh, he's lost it now, out of the course, so Borromolini takes it. So Borromolini through to the quarterfinals. He goes up against Arvid Owner. Job done for Maurizio Borromolini. Zan Kozier out in the first round of finals. Rok Margic, the other Slovenian man in the field, 29th for him in qualifying. So pretty tough qualifying earlier on today. Now Fischnaller up against Alexander Peyer. Fischnaller qualified in 6th place. The 44-year-old Italian making his 266th World Cup start today. Best of 6 so far this season for Fischnaller. That was in Cortina, a hill that he tends to go well on. So Fischnaller trying to just keep himself in contention, but he's got some work to do here. Peyer has the advantage on the red course, but that was a beautiful turn from Fischnaller. 0.13 at the second of the intermediates. It's going to be very, very tight at the bottom. Who is going to take it? Fischnaller closing well. Oh, Peyer in big trouble, runs wide. Fischnaller gets it. So Peyer out in the first round. He will hang around in the finish area and be no doubt cheering on Sabine, who took the win in Heat 7 of the women's competition, and goes up against Krovalas in quarterfinal number 4. Job done from Fischnaller, trying to find the old magic. It's not far away for the Italian. Great crowd out today on a Saturday afternoon. Just gone at 1:30 local time here in Scuol in Switzerland, the Engadin region, the Graubünden canton. This area hosting the World Championships coming up in just over a couple of months' time. So one heat to go. Gabriel Messner from Italy up against Elias Huber from Germany. Huber on the blue course, Messner on the red. The blue has been working pretty well throughout this race so far. And it's Messner, though, with the advantage on the red, but Huber, third in qualifying, makes a big error, loses all of his speed. Gets going again very quickly, but that does hand the advantage to Messner. Just under a quarter of a second, but Huber still fighting, still challenging. And this one on the blue course, it is going to be very close in the end. Messner with the advantage right now. Messner gets it by 0.15. So Gabriel Messner, the 27-year-old from Italy, through to the quarterfinals. What a good season he's having, particularly in parallel slalom, where he got his first ever career podiums in China. This was the mistake from Huber. Late out of the turn, trapped in the soft snow. So Messner, who's never been better than 7th in parallel giant slalom racing, has a good chance to better that today. But because he qualified in 14th place, if he gets knocked out, he wouldn't finish any higher than 8th in the quarterfinals by some quick maths. So if you know my commentary, you should always get the calculators out just to check. Here's your lineup for the quarterfinals: Bagozan, Bergstaller, Promega and Yankov. Auner and Borromolini, Fischnaller and Messner. Well, if Borromolini gets through, we will have an all-Italian semi-final. Italians leading the Nations Cup this season. They've got such strength and depth. Back to the women's race on the Visa Snowboard Alpine World Cup Tour. Round number 5 of 12 parallel giant slaloms this season. Quarterfinal number 1. Hofmeister and Takeuchi. We've got the overall leader through in Tsubaki Miki and the parallel giant slalom leader through in Krovalas from Poland. But this is a big race, this next one for Hofmeister. Qualified in 13th place. She is not having the best of seasons after winning all the Globes last year. So Hofmeister on the red course. Best of 5th this season. Hasn't made it out of the quarterfinals yet in parallel giant slalom. Takeuchi on the blue, qualified in 12th, so very evenly matched. Hofmeister's got to use her experience here, just running wide there, focusing on a clean line, carving at these turns, but Takeuchi has stepped on the gas pedal. She's got the advantage right now. 0.2 of a second. Can Hofmeister find it on the bottom section of the course? It's going to be very tight. Oh, Hofmeister's down! The run of defeats in quarterfinals continues for Hofmeister. Takeuchi through to the semi-finals. It's back to parallel slalom action for Hofmeister. And Takeuchi, the Olympic medalist in parallel giant slalom, the silver medalist from the Sochi 2014 Games, marches on to the semi-finals. So Takeuchi there going through. That's where Hofmeister went down. Far and away the best result of the season for Takeuchi from Japan.
Hatte dann die Japanerin leichtes Spiel, aber ein tolles Race der beiden. Herzlichen Dank, thank you for the great race.
Getting ready for quarterfinal number 2. Tsubaki Miki, the top qualifier. Up against Ladina Cavizio, qualified through in 9th place. Miki choosing the blue course here. Miki has seen one of her challenges for the Globe, Hofmeister, not get out of the quarterfinals. So Miki can build that advantage that she has, certainly in the overall, with another place in the semi-finals, and she's not far behind. Just 36 points behind in the parallel giant slalom standing. She's built a big lead here. Just under a quarter of a second at the first of the intermediate time checks. Continuing to build that lead. It's over half a second now. Miki just has to make sure she sees it out, because Cavizio is finishing strongly here. The Swiss athlete closing in on Miki. Not enough though, she does cut the gap, but Miki into the semi-finals again. 5 races this season, 5 trips to the semi-final for Tsubaki Miki from Japan. That is the sort of consistency that can bring you globes in this sport. Can she get out of the semi-final though? She's made every semi-final, as I said, but has been in the small final in the 4 previous stops of this season. So first job done for Miki. Back in the start, Michelle Decker qualified in 2nd place, choosing the blue course, up against Florina Nevabeci from Switzerland on the red. Becci in parallel GS has never been better than 16th, so it's already a career best day for the Swiss athlete. But Michelle Decker in some great form after that podium finish in Davos in parallel slalom. Decker 0.22 ahead at the first of the splits. Still holding that advantage. Can she find her way into the semi-finals? Oh, and Becci in trouble. DNF for Becci. It is a semi-final visit for Michelle Decker. What a little run of form that she is on right now. Decker almost getting it wrong as well, but does enough to get through. Michelle Decker, of course, made the semi-finals at Beijing 2022. Missed out on that bronze medal. Gloria Kotnik, World Cup winner in 2022 in this discipline. A couple of podiums last season as well in PGS in Rogla and Krynica. On a day Michelle Decker can challenge the best, hasn't found the consistency week in, week out on the World Cup Tour yet, has Decker, but looks like she's starting to find it now. Last of the women's quarterfinals, Sabine Peyer up against Alexandra Kroll-Valash. Peyer 2nd in the parallel GS standings. Kroll-Valash 1st. A huge moment potentially in the race for the Crystal Globe this season. 21 points separate them. If Krol-Valash can get through. She builds on her lead over Peyer, although Mickey is still in the race, who's third in the globe standings, but Peyer has the advantage, and she knows a win in this one, and that gap can get cut. But it's Krol-Valash with the advantage, approaching the second of the time checks. And now Krol-Valash just trying to see it out towards the line, but Peyer not giving up yet, and Peyer taking a lot of risks. She's on the heel edge, she's out. Krol-Valash is going to come through and right into the semi-finals, where she will go up against Michelle Dekker from the Netherlands. So Krol-Valash, the World Cup Tour leader in PGS, is guaranteed at least 50 points. Took last season off, became a mother, came back this season, and she is in the form of her life. She's only missed the semi-finals once this season. That was in Yanqing, round number 2 in China. Still a top 8 finish for Peyer. Means a few more points, but the lead at the top of the overall standings between Peyer and Mickey will grow. Do you know what, this might be day of the season here if you're up for a ski or a snowboard in this part of the world. There's been a lot of snow. Conditions are perfect, it's a cold day, but good to see a lot of people taking a bit of time out of their Saturday to stop by and enjoy the parallel giant slalom, as we see this semi-final lineups, an all-Japanese semi-final 1. Then Michelle Dekker from the Netherlands up against Aleksandra Krol-Valash from Poland. Back to the men's race now. 4 quarterfinals. 4 Italians are through. There's your lineup. Pagoza up against Bergstaller. Promegger up against Yankov. Auner and Boromolini, then Fischnaller and Messner. So the first quarterfinal lined up in the start gate. Anneli Pagoza up against Dominik Bergstaller from Austria. So here we go. Oh, and Pagoza in trouble right out of the gate. I don't think I've ever seen that before in parallel GS racing. Stumbling out of the gate, and that hands a huge advantage to Bergstaller. Now, can Pagoza close in? Because the gap over a second. But Pagoza looked good in the 8th finals, but Bergstaller is riding well, and you can see just how much effort Pagoza is putting into this one. The gap is going to be a lot closer. Another little mistake there from Pagoza, and Bergstaller has to be careful because Pagoza is closing in here. If Pagoza can get it, I don't think he will. He doesn't. 0.13, it would have been miraculous. And Bergstaller into the semi-finals, but that was all on Pagoza. Getting that totally wrong out of the gate. It's a career best in PGS. You need to see it from the other angle, but it's like he just got the timing wrong and then losing his balance, pitched forwards. They put a bit of pressure on the board before the board drops. So Bergstaller, a career best day for him in parallel GS. He's never had a World Cup podium. Whatever happens today, Bergstaller, the 23-year-old Austrian, is going to be racing for it for one. Will it be for first or second, or will he be in the small final? Promegger, one of the best to ever do this sport, up against Radoslav Yankov from Bulgaria. Yankov having a great season. One win, it came in Careza. Promegger still to really ignite his parallel GS season best of 4th, coming in that round at number 2. Promegger on the red course, Yankov on the blue. through the first of the banana gates or delay gates. 0.16 in favor of Yankov at this stage. The Bulgarian really in tune with the conditions on this hill here in Scuol. Yankov still with the advantage, 0.36, he's built on it. Approaching the finish line, the red course though does get a little quicker over the final 3 or 4 turns, and this one is going to go right down to the line. Promaga maybe with the lead, he gets it by 0.14. We lose the #1 seed, and Promaga for the second time this season makes it into the semi-finals in parallel GS. He's so strong across both disciplines. Maybe just starting to find that little bit of magic that he needs in PGS this season. Solid racing from Andreas Promaga into the semi-finals. Thumbs up, job not done yet for Promaga. Yankov will be fairly disappointed, I would say. Boromolini up against Auna. Auna with a really strong qualifying. Qualified in second place. We've lost one of the Italians already. Can Arvid Auna on the red course knock out another? Or can Boromolini, who's third in the overall standings, get into the semi-finals? 0.2 of a second, the advantage for Boromolini. Oh, and Auna in big trouble. He's riding switch. That's not the fastest way to do a parallel GS race. But he had to recover. Just try and keep moving. You never know. Boromolini might make a mistake. And now it's all over for Auna. Boromolini might have sensed something was up there. He did. He stood up before the line. So Auna, after a good qualifying, out of the quarterfinals. And just like that, folks, we've lost the #1 seed, the #2 seed in the quarterfinals. So Boromolini, one PGS podium this season, has a chance to race for another. One heat to go. Messner up against Fischnaller. So Boromolini smiles, he progresses, and we get ready for the All-Italian quarterfinal 4. Fischnaller on the blue, Messner on the red. Messner has never finished higher than 7th in his career in PGS. Fischnaller hasn't been better than 6th in PGS this season. Messner on the red course with the slight advantage. And the first of the splits, 2 splits in PGS. Fischnaller, though, experienced, strong, tall, powerful athlete. Messner, very good in parallel slalom, as we've seen this season. And this shorter radius over the bottom might favour Messner on the red. Fischnaller made a mistake there. He's lost a bit of speed. It's going to be very, very tight. We might even need a photo finish for this one. We do. They can't be split on the clock. That tells you how tight it was. So over to the photo finish to see if we can separate the riders. Just that little mistake from Fischnaller. About 6, maybe 7 gates from home. Took away some of the speed. That was him coming out of that mistake. His hands were down. He was pitched forwards now. Who's your pick? Let's see. Oh, I think maybe it's going to Messner, but I'd want to see it again. I'd want to see that one again. That was very, very tight. It has gone to Messner. When you see that angle from the photo finish, that shot, that's the one we need. So Fischnaller out and Messner with a career best. He is in the hunt for his first parallel giant slalom podium. Now the problems that the Italians have, it's a good problem, is trying to pick their team for their home Olympics. Now Fischnaller said he wants to compete in the second home Olympics, but he's got some strong teammates alongside him, and Fischnaller competed and finished 13th in Bardonecchia 2006. He's got it right well for the remainder of this part of the season and early part of next season to get into that Italian squad, because they've got Bagoza, Borromolini, Messner, Corati, Aaron March as well, Mirko Filicetti. Then you're looking at Fischnaller. So no parallel slalom on the Olympic program, which does change things a little bit in terms of your selections. It's all about PGS form. Fischnaller not far away. So we do have an all-Italian semi-final. Borromolini up against Messner. And an all-Austrian semi-final one. Bergstaller up against Promegger. And there is Mr. Promegger. Someone having a ski lesson, maybe? Just ride the lift with World Cup snowboard racer. So women's semi-finals will be up next. And a very interesting race here on the Visa FIS Snowboard Alpine World Cup Tour, as they usually are. Such a great format. Straight knockout. If you remember, in the past we used to run the rerun format. Races could take quite a while with each rider doing a run on both courses, but the straight knockout, simple, easy to follow. I think we've got a run at the end of the season. Let us know on social media, folks, on FIS Snowboard Racing. Should we run the best dogs? And all dogs are brilliant, but best dogs that we've seen enjoying World Cup races over the course of the season. Because we see quite a lot of them, don't we? Getting ready for the women's semi-finals. They're lined up just about in the gate. There's your lineups now. Takeuchi up against Miki, Decker and Krol Valash from Poland. So if you haven't followed us on social media, check us out. We're on TikTok, Instagram as well, and the Facebook pages. Make sure you download the FIS app, and you can get involved in the predictor challenges as well. So something to enjoy. If you haven't started yet, well, you're probably not going to win unless you're brilliant at it. Still time to get involved. First of the women's semi-finals, Takeuchi on the red, Tsubaki Miki on the blue. Takeuchi, Olympic silver medalist from Sochi 2014, up against Tsubaki Miki, who is, of course, one of the best to do this sport. She's the current world champion. And Miki with the advantage right now. She sits in the lead of the overall standings, third in the PGS standings, and a big advantage now for Tsubaki Miki, 0.75 her lead. And Tsubaki Miki surely going to see this one out now, and she finally gets out of a semi-final. She's into the big final in PGS for the first time this season. Fantastic riding from the #1 seed in today's race, the 21-year-old Tsubaki Miki. Just what she needed to do. Guarantees herself 80 World Cup points. She can build her lead on Sabine Peyer in the overall standings. She'll overtake Sabine Payer in the PGS standings. Now, depending on what Krol Valas does in this next heat, there's 36 points between them. So if Krol Valas goes out and Tsubaki Miki wins, Tsubaki Miki might be wearing, well, she would be wearing the yellow and the orange bib. Now, they wouldn't make her wear two bibs. That would be unfair, wouldn't it? But all of that could be pointless because Krol Valas could win this one quite easily. So could Michelle Decker, as they're both quality athletes. And it's Michelle Decker on the blue course. Krol Valas on the red, wearing the yellow bib as the Parallel Giant Slalom Tour leader. But Michelle Decker on a great run of form after the Parallel Slalom podium in Davos back in December. Krol Valas with the advantage. Decker, though, on the blue course, carving some nice turns, keeping the pole in her sights. Approaching the second of the delays. Little stumble there from Krol Valas, but she's still got the lead here. Just has to see it out, and Krol Valas is going to come through and ride into the final. Decker in trouble, clatters through the gates. She goes into the small final, but it's number one for Alexandra Krol Valas. She is into the big final for the fourth time this season. The leader of the World Cup standings is going to stay in the yellow bib, even if Tsubaki Miki wins the race. Michelle Decker still has a chance for her second podium in a row in Alpine snowboarding. She will be up against Tomoka Takeuchi in the small final. What a season Krol Valas is having. 5 races, 4 podiums. Can she get her first win of the season in Parallel Giant Slalom? We've had 4 different winners in Parallel GS this year. We're going to have a 5th here. Tells you the depth, the quality of the field. So Decker's day is not over. Small final. That's why we love this sport. Great camaraderie, everyone getting on well. Everyone enjoying what they do. There's your lineups for the small and big final. And whatever sport you're doing, whatever level, do it with a smile on your face, especially on a day like today if you're in Alpine snowboarding, because days don't come much better than this in the mountains, do they? Back to the men's semi-finals. 2 Austrians, 2 Italians. It's the all-Austrian semi-final 1 coming up first, then Borromolini up against Messner in the all-Italian second semi-final. Messner knocking out Fischnaller with that photo finish. Promegger on the blue, Burgstaller on the red. Burgstaller has never had a World Cup podium. Can he get it today? Oh, big problems on the blue for Promegger. He's going to have some work to do. 0.32 over a quarter of a second. And Burgstaller, the Austrian, the young gun, just 23 years old, in the fight for his first ever World Cup podium. If he wins this one, it's guaranteed, but Promegger is not going anywhere. 0.36 behind. Promegger taking a lot of risk. Burgstaller with a bit of problem there. Slight stumble. It closes things up before the line, but it's Burgstaller who gets it. He's into the big final, and look at what it means to him. For the first time in his career in World Cup competition, he is going to be on the podium. A fantastic race today for Burgstaller. What a season, stepping it up right when it matters. And Dominic Burgstaller, first or second for him today. Promega's day is not over. He could end up in third. Still has the small final. Second semi-final. Burgstaller awaits. Borromolini up against Messner. Gabriel Messner. He's never been better than 7th in parallel GS. He is on the red course. Maurizio Borromolini on the blue. Italy guaranteed another World Cup podium. Possibly 2. Borromolini, a winner once on the World Cup Tour in parallel GS. That was in Carreza in 2023. This one very, very tight. Borromolini with the advantage. Oh, and Messner's in trouble. DNF for Messner. Borromolini through into the big final. So Borromolini second in round number 2. Guaranteed at least another second place finish. Messner goes up against Promega to fight for the final spot on the podium. And it's the podium races coming next here in Scuol, Switzerland. That is where it went wrong for the Italian, Gabriel Messner.
Den Einzug in den großen Finale gebracht hat.
So Borromolini celebrates. A little bit of coursework getting done, and we will focus on the medal races for the women and the men here on the Visa FIS Snowboard Alpine World Cup Tour. There's your small and big final lineups. Italy and Austria dominating as they so often do. It'll be the women's small final and big final up first, followed by the men's small final and big final. Then we'll look at all the standings for you as well. Next race we see will be Takeuchi up against Michelle Decker. Krovalas can relax. It's been another good day for her. She's going to be in a great position at the end of this race in the standings, whatever happens. Wonderful atmosphere at the race today. Obviously, athletes takes a little bit longer at this stage. They've got to get back to the top, a bit of prep on the board, work on the edges, maybe a re-wax. They might switch boards as well. Depends what the coaches and the athletes say in the conversation. So small final up first. Takeuchi, one of the most successful athletes to do this sport, 14 World Cup podiums in her career. Hasn't been on the podium in parallel giant slalom since 2017. Erikis Kayseri in Turkey. The last podium of any kind coming in Vanoy, Russia in 2021. 41-year-old from Japan, lining up in the small final on the red course. Olympic medalist, Sochi 2014. Silver medal. Patricia Kuma taking the gold on that day. Up against Michelle Decker. Made an Olympic semi-final, Beijing. 28 years old. 10 World Cup podiums in her career. 2 in parallel GS. Apologies, that's her Europa. 4 parallel GS podiums, 7 in her career. So Decker up against Takeuchi. This for 3rd place. Decker on the blue course, Takeuchi on the red. Big opportunity for both of these athletes, and at the first of the time checks, there's not going to be a lot between them here. Let's see what the clock says. 0.3 of a second in favor of Michelle Decker from the Netherlands. Takeuchi fighting to stay in contention in this race, and she's not going anywhere. Michelle Decker, 0.32 of an advantage, and the Dutch athlete looking to see this one out for her 2nd podium in a row on the World Cup Tour. One in slalom a few weeks ago, but it's Takeuchi who gets it right on the line. What a story for Takeuchi. She can't quite believe it. Disappointment for Michelle Decker. It's not to be today. 3rd place for Takeuchi. 221 World Cup starts for Takeuchi before today. Her first parallel GS podium since 2017. Michelle Decker, so close. She had 0.32 at the 2nd of the intermediates, but that red course strong, and there you see it on the line. Decker a couple of meters behind, and Takeuchi gets it. Still 5th place today, 4th place today, do beg your pardon, for Michelle Decker. Not a bad result in World Cup competition. One race to go. Krol-Walasz from Poland up against Subaki Miki. Miki, the top qualifier. Krol-Walasz qualified in 3rd place. Miki leads the overall standings. She wears the orange bib. Krol-Walasz wears the yellow bib. She leads the parallel giant slalom standings. Neither of these athletes have won in PGS this season. Krol-Walasz, 1 World Cup win in parallel giant slalom. Subaki Miki on the blue course, 21 years old. 2 victories in parallel giant slalom in her career. She is the world champion. Current world champion as well. Big final underway. Krol-Walasz on the red course. Subaki Miki on the blue. A key race in the battle for this season's Crystal Globe. Subaki Miki through the delay gate, carving a beautiful turn. It's the Japanese athlete that will have the advantage at the first of the time checks, 0.22. But the red course has looked quick. On the bottom section, Krol-Walasz just a little late in the line, but recovers nicely. Subaki Miki throwing everything she's got at this one. Wants the victory, but it's Krol-Walasz that has the advantage at the last of the splits, but it's going to be very tight across the line. Krol-Walasz clatters through the gate and comes across the line and gets her first victory in parallel giant slalom this season. What a moment for her. 3 second-place finishes, finally on the top step of the podium. What a day for Aleksandra Krol-Walasz from Poland. Her 2nd career victory, and she cements her lead at the top of the World Cup standings. Best finish in PGS of the season as well for Subaki Miki. Keeps her well in command of the overall globe. Subaki Miki has 2 wins in parallel slalom this season, and we head to parallel to Bad Gastein for parallel slalom action this coming week. Krowalash, that yellow bib suits her. First Polish woman to wear the yellow bib in snowboard alpine. Oh, what a race, going right down to the line. There's our podium, and what a day for Japanese snowboarding. Krowalash leading Tsubaki Miki and Tomoka Takeuchi on her first PGS podium for Takeuchi since 2017. Michelle Decker with a good finish in 4th place, Payer in 5th. Hofmeister down in 8th place. Riegler, who qualified well in 5th place, picking up 26 points to finish in 10th. 18 points going to Iris Flum from the USA. Another good show from the young American athlete. Gloria Kotnick, the Olympic bronze medalist, finishing down in 20th. Everyone from 17th onwards not making it through to today's finals.
Second places, you clinch a victory today here in Scuol. How was the racing against Tsubaki in the big final?
I knew it's gonna be hard, so I had nothing to lose, so I put the full power in it and I fight it till the end. And I'm very happy because I said I have enough of second places. I want to win finally, and thank God I did it.
You're also keeping the yellow bib until Bansko?
Yes, I am. It's cool to be a leader. I like the yellow now.
Congrats, Alexandra, once again.
Thank you.
Yeah, the yellow bib suits her, doesn't it? The way she's riding this season, it is going to take a monumental effort to get that bib off of her shoulders. We turn our attention to the men's race now. Promäger up against Messner in the small final. Promäger looking for his 70th World Cup podium across all events, parallel giant slalom, parallel slalom and parallel team events. Promäger, 40 PGS World Cup podiums, 16 wins. Can't add to the win column, but he can certainly add to the podium column. Up against Gabriel Messner, 27-year-old from Italy. He has never been on the parallel GS podium, but a big step up in performance this season. We've seen it in parallel slalom. Will we see it in parallel GS? Small final underway. The race for 3rd place. Promäger on the blue course. Messner on the red. Expect this one to go right down to the line. Both of these men wanting this podium today. Promäger looking to really kickstart his season. Oh, Messner in all sorts of trouble. Promäger has a huge advantage. No mistakes here from the Austrian. And Promäger will grab his 41st World Cup podium in parallel giant slalom. Great day today for Promäger, his 70th World Cup podium across his career. That's including team events as well. Not to be today for Gabriel Messner, but don't bet against him next week in Bad Gastein with the form that he has shown in parallel slalom. That is where it goes wrong for Messner. No mistakes today from the Austrian. And the Austrian lands on the podium. So one race to go, the men's big final. That is what we'll focus on now. Maurizio Borromolini from Italy, 5-time winner on the World Cup Tour. 1 win in parallel giant slalom, 4 in parallel slalom. And Borromolini lining up on the blue course. He's been on the podium once this season, sits in 5th in the standings. So guaranteed at least 2nd place. This man, Dominik Burgstaller from Austria, 23 years old, has never been on the World Cup podium before. Well, that's changing today. Will his first podium be a victory? Here we go, men's big final, round at number 5, parallel giant slalom on the Visa FIS Snowboard Alpine World Cup Tour from Scuol in Switzerland. We have got on the blue course Maurizio Borromolini with a slight advantage over Dominik Burgstaller on the red, 0.28 the advantage. Oh, and Borromolini trapped on the toe edge but recovers very quickly, lightning quick reactions. Burgstaller having the race of his life. He's down on the heel edge, but again bounces back up quickly. It's advantage Borromolini from Italy. Burgstaller not giving up the fight, runs wide. That is going to be that for Burgstaller. And Borromolini comes through and claims the victory. The Italian on the top step of the podium today for the 2nd time in his career in parallel giant slalom. He was a winner in Carresa in 2023, a winner in Scuol in 2025. 100 World Cup points going his way. And Borromolini, who's got his fan club here in the finish area, is going to move up the World Cup standings by quite a lot with the 100 points, and with no Masnak, Kim having problems, Karate having problems, Yankov going out early. It is advantage Borromolini after today. What a race, and what a way to take advantage over the misfortune that your nearest competitors have had. So this result changes the complexion of the World Cup standings. A quick word for Dominik Burgstaller. He'll be disappointed, of course, that he didn't get the win. However, a special day for him, his first World Cup podium in his career. The Austrians landing 2 men on the podium. But again, it's Italy on the top step. 3rd Italian man to win this season after Karate and Pagosa. It's Borromolini with the 100 World Cup points. Yankov ending up in 5th place, 45 World Cup points. But that's not enough to keep him ahead of Borromolini in the standings. Cody Winters from the USA just missing out on the top 16. We'll hear from Borromolini in just a second.
Maurizio, congrats at first. Your 2nd victory of the season, but first one in parallel giant slalom. How was racing against Burki in the big final? It was quite intense, huh?
Was not easy. He is young. He is full of power. So I gave all my best, and yeah, it was good. Maybe he did some mistake. I don't know, but I was lucky if he did some mistakes.
Thank you, Maurizio, and congrats again.
Sometimes no mistakes is the best way to go, but Burgstaller, he had a couple of small errors in there. So let's look at the podiums again. Takeuchi and Miki on the podium for Japan, but it is Alexandra Krovalas. After 3 second place finishes, who gets her first victory in PGS of the season. Have a look at the final results. Again, Hofmeister needs to start dealing in victories or podiums at least, really for the remainder of the season if she wants to get her hands on the globe again, because Krovalas is climbing away. 444 points now for Krovalash in the overall. Get a look at the standings as we start to wrap things up. 366 points is the new total for Krovalash in parallel giant slalom, extending her lead at the top, keeping the yellow bib into Bansko. The next parallel giant slalom on the World Cup Tour. Well, look at the advantage, 56 points now between Krovalash and Miki. Sabine Payer drops to third in the standings, and Miki climbing up to second. Big move today. Takeuchi up to 13th after the 60 World Cup points. Ledechka continuing to drop. Will we see her again on the circuit this season? You'd have to ask her. She's obviously spending her time between Alpine Skiing, Alpine Racing and Snowboard Alpine. Did win the opening round of the tour though, back in Meilin, China. Men's podium, Promega with his first PGS podium of the season. Bergstaller with his first career podium. And the Italian Maurizio Borromolini picking up the 100 points that is going to rocket him up the standings. Top four all having problems today. Only Yankov, who finished in 5th place, picking up a useful haul of points. But I make it Borromolini might be in the yellow bib here, as he is going to move to 266 World Cup points today. All the athletes from 31st onwards not picking up any World Cup points, of course. And there the names of Masnak and Karl, DNFs in the first run of qualifying, and just like that, the day over for two of the biggest names. And Borromolini does take over at the top of the standings. Masnak dropping 2 spots, and Yankov, who finished in 5th in the end, going out the quarterfinals, sitting in 2nd place now. Bergstaller climbing 11 spots. Fischnaller on a climb as well, but Fischnaller has to find his way into the top 4 Italians if he wants to make the big show in Milano Cortina 2026. Well, we'll have the podium presentation for you as soon as they are ready, and the bib presentations as well, because we've got a change in leader, of course, in the men's parallel giant slalom standings. Well, a beautiful day here in Scuol in Switzerland. Let's look back at some of the best of the racing from round 5, the Parallel Giant Slalom World Cup Tour. So the podium presentation about to get underway here. And they're all in position already.
Third place, representing Japan, Tomoka Takeuchi.
What a fantastic day for Tomoka Takeuchi from Japan. Her first podium in parallel giant slalom since 2017, her first of any kind since 2021.
Second place, representing Japan, Tsubaki Miki.
Tsubaki Miki has made every semi-final in parallel giant slalom this season. Finally got out of a semi-final. Second place for Miki today.
And in first place, the winner of today's women's Visa FIS Snowboard Alpine World Cup Parallel Giant Slalom, representing Poland, Alexandra Krol-Walasz.
Her second career victory, her first victory of the season, and Krol-Walasz, we heard from her, she was delighted to finally get on the top step of the podium. The run of second place finishes comes to an end. 3 second place finishes this season, but finally gets a victory and will now have the Polish national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending the Women's Awards ceremony of today's Visa.
Can Krol-Walasz keep that yellow bib on her shoulders to the end of the season? The last parallel giant slaloms coming up on the 1st and 2nd of March in Krynica, Poland. And what a way it would be for Krol-Walasz to get the Crystal Globe on home soil. Long way to go until then. We're racing in Bad Gastein in parallel slalom during the week, and then next weekend it's Bansko, Bulgaria. Then we're off to Rogla in Slovenia, Val-Saint-Côme in Quebec, Canada. So still 8 races to go this season, 800 points up for grabs in parallel giant slalom. And whilst Krol-Walasz is in command of the yellow bib right now, there's still an opportunity for another athlete to finish the season strongly. Wrestle that bib off the shoulders of the pole. But the way she's riding at the moment, she is by far and away the most consistent athlete of anyone on the tour. Just the men's podium presentation to come up next.
Now, please welcome the winners of today's men's Visa FIS Snowboard Alpine World Cup Parallel Giant Slalom in Scuol. In third place, representing Austria, Andreas Promegger.
Promegger on the parallel giant slalom podium for the first time this season. Before today, a best of 4th place in parallel giant slalom. The 44-year-old getting his 70th World Cup podium across parallel giant slalom, and parallel team events.
Place, representing Austria as well, Dominic Buchstaller.
Dominic Burgstaller, the 23-year-old Austrian, with his first ever career podium. Congratulations to him today. Fantastic day, of course, for Dominic Burgstaller.
And in first place, the winner of today's men's Visa FIS Snowboard Alpine World Cup Parallel Giant Slalom, representing Italy, Maurizio Bormolini.
What a season Bormolini is having. Second place at round 2, now a victory in round 5. Throw them alongside his 2 parallel slalom victories. Or his 1 parallel slalom victory, I should say, in that Mylin. He is one of the form athletes this season across both disciplines, and now we will have the Italian national anthem.
Congratulations to these 3 pretty, very fast snowboarders, the fastest of today.
Well, congratulations to Maurizio Bormolini, Dominic Burgstaller and Andreas Promager for hitting the podium today. Bormolini about to get the yellow bib as well. He's the new leader of the World Cup standings.
Thank you for attending the men's award
We'll
ceremony
have the
of
bibs
today's
handed
Visa
out
FIS Snowboard
in
Alpine
just a
World
moment or
Cup
two
Parallel
as well.
Giant Slalom.
Well, Bormolini finding the consistency that you need to be successful this season. Make sure you get into that top 16. That is the first job. And try and get out the first round into the quarterfinals. And twice in 5 races, he's landed in the final. 5 races, 5 different winners on the men's Visa FIS Snowboard Alpine World Cup Tour this season. And the same story with the women's field as well. 5 races, 5 different winners. That's what makes it so intriguing, particularly this year. Nobody dominating in terms of victories. Scuol Valash in terms of podiums and top results is clear of everybody else. That's why she has the yellow bib on her shoulders. Chance to defend that yellow bib in Bansko next weekend, a double header. The 18th and 19th of January over in Bulgaria. You can enjoy it here on FIS TV. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you have been watching around the world. We really appreciate your company. Make sure you follow us on social media.
Ladies and
FIS
gentlemen,
Snowboard Racing
may we present you the women
on
and
Instagram
men's
and
leader
on
of the
TikTok.
Visa FIS
You can find us as
Alpine
well.
World Cup Parallel
The
Giant
FIS app
Slalom
has
as of
all the
today.
information you need across all the winter sports disciplines.
And Maurizio Bormolini.
Scuol Valash and Maurizio Bormolini, the World Cup leaders. Valash has been wearing that bib for a few races now. Borromolini will wear it into Bansko next weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending the men.
So there'll be a few photographs and some more media interviews as well. Now that the World Cup leader bibs have been handed out. Well, a fantastic race today in Scuol in Switzerland. Place we've been coming to on the World Cup Tour since 2018. Next race on the Visa FIS Snowboard Alpine World Cup Tour. Just a few days away, it's the night race, Bad Gastein, but parallel slalom action. And that will be followed up by a parallel team event on Wednesday. My name is, hasn't changed, Ian Finley. Thank you so much for your company today. We've loved having you along. And from all of us here at FIS TV, we'll see you in Bad Gastein on Tuesday. Bye for now.
Rennen. Bei den Damen und bei den Herren haben wir heute hier erlebt in Scuol zum 8. Mal Snowboard und Alpinsport vom Feinsten. Ich denke, es war ein gelungener Tag und ich danke Ihnen von Herzen, dass Sie dabei waren, dass Sie mitgefiebert haben und für einen fantastischen Rahmen gesorgt haben für die heutigen Rennen. Danke auch allen Partnern.